The college football championship game is on Monday. And originally I liked Clemson. So if Ohio State had won a sloppy game, had they won a game where it's okay, it's a win, but I wasn't overly impressed, I'd probably like Alabama this week, but I don't. I still didn't see anything in Alabama against Notre Dame that leads me to believe, because especially Notre Dame's offense isn't going to give you anything. They're not a true test. Florida was a true test. They scored all over Alabama. And after what I saw from Fields and that offense and the running game, the offensive line, the defensive line was outstanding for the Buckeyes. I'm going to take Ohio State. Now, I love the fact that they're getting 8.5 points. So that's the debate, which way to go heavy on the 9 or gamble on the 3-1 money line. I mean, this is just a great game to gamble on the 3-1 money line in my case. I mean, you get a team that is just red hot. They had a huge win. The quarterback is just dialed in. I think they're going to score all over Alabama. I think Alabama's going to score. It's going to be a high-scoring, exciting football game. But in games like that I think either team has a good chance to win, why wouldn't I take the chance on the money line with the Buckeyes and say, hey, I got a really good money line play here, and that's why I'm taking Ohio State to win the game on Monday.
Well, let's tell it like it is, Greg, okay? When you get to a college football national championship game, either team can win the game.
Yes, exactly.
They're both very, very good football teams.
Yep.
My main concern for Ohio State in this football game is they just pitched the no-hitter last game.
True.
Against Clemson. You know who the last person to go back-to-back no-hitters ever was?
Was it Sandy Koufax?
Johnny Vandermeer.
Johnny Vandermeer. A little before my time, yes.
Yeah, a little bit before mine, too. The only pitcher in Major League Baseball history to throw back-to-back no-hitters, okay? So can Ohio State do the same thing?
Well, they did it with Urban Meyer.
Yes, okay. But I'm talking about no-hitters where they won big as an underdog and they're going to come back as big or larger an underdog the next football game.
Well, that year, what they did with Urban Meyer, they were the underdog. Remember, they got in and nobody really thought they were going to do anything in the playoffs. I forget who that quarterback, that Charger guy, that backup that never became anything. That was like
Craig Hensel.
No, he was a big physical black quarterback that.
Yeah, the big guy he was from Cleveland.
And then he was thrust into the starting role late in the season, I think due to an injury, and he just had a tremendous run. He had like that big win, I think, against Wisconsin in the championship game, and he just got hot, and then they won both games as dogs, and the game against Alabama.
Cardell
Jones, yes.
Right.
So that's why now look, I feel a lot more comfortable with Urban Meyer on the sidelines, but the Buckeyes wouldn't be a 3-1 underdog with Urban Meyer on the sidelines.
Well, that's part of the equation in this football game here is the no respect that Ryan Day gets. And I think you're going to end up seeing Ryan Day coaching in the National Football League here sooner than later, okay? Mm-hmm. And if they win a national championship, it could be much sooner than later,
True.
Okay? Look at what they've done. They're 23-1 in his 24 games. They've out-yarded every opponent they've played by an average of 241 yards a game. That's powerful. They don't just win the stats. They push people all over the field and do just that.
Yep.
He's an unsung coach right now in what he's doing. And I also like the fact that they're 14-0 against the spread. The last 14 times they've been an underdog of 3 or more points.
Love that.
That's a great stat, isn't it?
Yes.
And you're talking about a handful of points here, 8.5 points here. Only one way to look, and that's to take the points with Ohio State.
Yes.
The concern, obviously, is Justin Fields and his ribs, the Buckeyes in the COVID situation, and the no-hitter factor. But you're talking about a team here that's loaded with 4- and 5-star blue-chip recruits on this roster, much like Alabama is as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to hearken to the point again that when Alabama won those 5 national championships with Nick Saban, those teams allowed an average of 243 yards a game. This team allows 343 yards a game, okay? The defense is nowhere near what Nick Saban used to or has seen in the past, okay?
Patrick Surtain, that's all they have.
That's it. I mean, as far as a defensive star.
Yeah, that's it. They got one guy, one star.
Exactly. So, it's not like we're going into a wall here, an impenetrable wall here in Alabama. We're not doing that,
No.
okay? Now, I think it'll allow Ohio State to do what they want to do. I feel the most valuable player in this football game will be Trey Sermon, the running back from Ohio State. And I think
Yes.
they'll utilize him to the max uh, to keep their Heisman Trophy winner and Mac Jones off the field as much as possible, give time of possession to Ohio State, and open up the passing game. I think this is going to be a really, really good football game to watch, and I only hope that the Buckeyes aren't laden with the COVID factor, the Fauci factor in this game.
Yeah, we definitely hope that, no question. And that's why I love the fact that it's the only chance you got now, the rest of the playoffs, where you've got 6 playoff games and an opportunity to parlay your way into that Monday night game, which is exactly what I'm trying to take advantage of. I've got two that I'm trying to do, and that one is definitely going to be the 9. I mean, to me, if you can get the 9, that's great. But to make the big money, if you can get a couple of games you like, maybe one Saturday, one Sunday, and then that last game is sitting there on Monday night with a 3-1 money line, it inflates the number of your parlay and gives you a really good chance to win out there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to try to roll the dice with Ohio State as the final game of a few parlays. But either way, I think we're on the same page with Ohio State getting 9.
And let me digress a little bit before we close out this championship game here. We had run a poll, which we do on our playbook.com website just about every week or every bi-weekly. And our poll for this week is, when the college football playoffs come back next year, what would you like to see? How many teams in the playoffs? And we gave everybody an option to choose 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12 teams, even 16. Overwhelmingly, and I'm talking like 9 or 10 to 1, which do you feel the fans wanted to see? How many teams in the college football playoffs?
Well, for me, it would be a minimum of 8. That's for me. I mean, so for me it would be, I think, if what I would probably do is something like what are there 8? I'd probably have like 8. 10 is probably the number, because I'd like to do where you have 8 and then you give 2 teams maybe an opportunity to get a bye week or something, the top 2 teams, and you get 8 other teams. So I'd probably say like 8 or 10. That would be me.
It was 8, exactly what it is. Just double the amount of teams and everybody will be happy. And what's wrong with keeping the fans happy? And
Yep.
what's wrong with generating more revenue for the NCAA?
That's it.
Yep.
That's why, because see, if you have 8, what I want to do is give every conference championship champion an invite.
An
Every one of
automatic,
them.
an automatic invite.
Automatic invite. And then I
Exactly.
add those other 2 to the at-large. Now
Yeah,
I'm giving like Alabama and Clemson an opportunity to have the week off, and then you go on from there. So yeah, something like that I think would make sense, but that doesn't mean that's what they're going to do.
I think you can go so far as to say, out of the Power 5 teams that were non-conference winners, you can have one of them be awarded a playoff spot, and the other one would be the best group of 5 team would make the playoff as well.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be a really nicely balanced football playoff.
Just sounds too logical, Mark.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
They won't do that. All right, Mark. So next week it's off to the no more college football, and it'll just be the divisional rounds of the NFL playoffs. So we're looking forward to that as well. Before I let you go, though, playbook.com, we've been gearing towards this time of the season, and for the first time, you have sent out the newsletter for basketball. So how about that?
Yep. Yeah, we're hooping it up right now with basketball. I've been waiting for the college football bowl games to wind down to be able to devote some time to that. So the college basketball weekly newsletter is available every Friday online, playbook.com. A nice discussion of basketball games, some awesome angles, tips, trends, power ratings. Check it out if you like basketball at playbook.com.
Well, as soon as we get close to the tournament, we'll definitely do some college basketball talk on the Prime Sports Network, no question. And I just hope by the time we get to April, March, I hope that they start letting some fans in. I doubt it, but I hope so. I can't take this college basketball with no fans.
I'm 100% with you.
It's just unwatchable. All right, Mark, appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, Greg, enjoy the games. Be well. Stay safe, and I'll catch you next week.